Hi everybody, welcome to Flosstube number 15. It is just gone so fast since the first Flosstube, but I sure look forward to it each week. I am sorry that I did not come to you last week. It has been crazy busy here in our house. We had the bag sale on the Violets and Verses Facebook page, and so that always takes a good week of work getting the bags ready to go. So that was part of why I didn't come to you last week. Also, my big fur baby, I have a huge, he looks Great Pyrenees, and he's the size of a Great Pyrenees, but he is my fur baby, and he just did not feel good last week. I have had him for about 11 years, and he's a puppy that my oldest son got right before he graduated high school. Well, after he graduated, he went into the Marine Corps. And of course, being active duty, he was deployed several times. I inherited his big fur baby, Helio. And so I, bless my son's heart, I told him when he got home, I'm very sorry, I will buy you a new puppy. But Helio has become my buddy. And he is just a big teddy bear. If I'm upstairs here in my sewing room, he's up here laying with me. As a matter of fact, he's laying down here on the floor by me. If I stay up to 11 o'clock at night, he stays up with me. He doesn't go to bed until he sees me headed for the stairway. Then he follows me upstairs and sleeps right next to my side of the bed. So he has become just my big fur baby. And so unfortunately, I know he's getting to be kind of an older guy, but his hips are giving way with him. So I took him in last week to the vet, and at first they thought it was just arthritis, gave us some medicine, sent us home, and it just got worse. And so to the point where I was having to help him to walk anywhere. So my husband helped me load him up. We took him back to the vet, had lots more tests ran, and ended up it's one of two things. He either has, it's called parathyroid, which is just his thyroid is producing way too much calcium, and that can cause kidney failure, and that can also cause the weakness in his legs that we're seeing. That's treatable. They can, if they can find the tumors that are causing it, they can be removed. And that's a good prognosis. So that's what we're kind of hoping for. Then the second thing that it could be to make his body produce that much calcium is lymphoma, a type of cancer. That's not the prognosis that we want to hear. And so tomorrow I'm actually taking him to a specialist out of town who's going to run some in-depth tests, and he has an ultrasound machine that he's able to use on fur babies and see if he can locate a tumor. If he can, he's also equipped and specialized to do the surgery to remove the tumor if he can find one. So good thoughts and prayers are appreciated tomorrow. We hope that we get the diagnosis that we're wanting. Our vet did put him on prednisone this last week, and he's now walking. He was able to come up the stairs with me to be with me in my sewing room, and his walking is great now. So I'm hoping it's something that's fixable. But I did take time to just take him and try and figure out what's going on. And those of you, I know a lot of us have fur babies. I know you understand, so thank you for that. But I did get a lot of finishes done. We had our bag sale on the Violets and Verses page last night. It was a great sale. Bags sold out very quickly. And so thank you to everyone who bought a bag or who tried to buy a bag. I appreciate you. And I promise we have more bags coming. The next bag sale won't be until the end of November, but I'll give you more information about that in just a little bit. But let me show you. Those are my finishes this week because I had a bunch of bags to put together. And I'm not going to show you all of them, but I'm going to show you a few of mine that I really enjoy doing. This one was a hands-on, sorry about that, hands-on design, and it's just Pumpkin Spice Farm. I love all the colors in this design, and it did use the call for colors. And then the fabric, I can't remember where I got the fabric. Someone else asked me last night during the sale where I bought a certain fabric. Sometimes I remember if it's a piece that I just bought, but I have huge tubs And like I have a tub for just fall fabric. I have a tub for spring bird fabric. I have tubs for different kinds of fabric. And I just pick up fabric anytime I'm out and I find a fabric shop, I have to stop. That's just a must. And so if I find something that I think would be cute on a bag, I buy it. Doesn't mean I'm going to use it right then, but I have it in my big tub or box that I can pull from later on. So lots of times I can't remember where I bought the fabric, but I did like this particular fabric with it. And I want to say this came from Hobby Lobby. I could be wrong though. So that's one finish. Let me lay it down here. Then I just love Blackbird Designs. My mom actually stitched this one. So I did the bag finish, but she did the stitching. And I just think he is so cute. And I love it with the fabric. This was one that someone asked me where I got the fabric. Here's the back, so you can kind of see more of the fabric. I like the colors in it and just how it goes with the design. I did change the design colors up some to go with the fabric though. And I kind of think I got this fabric in Branson. They have a great quilt shop if you ever go to Branson called Quilts and Quilts. Great selection. So I kind of think that's where I got that the last time I was up there. This one is my broomstick runs on candy corn. I just think that's a cute saying. And I know I did get this fabric in Branson. And I liked it because the candy corn's not the typical candy corn. It's just a little bit different looking. So I thought that was cute. And this one, let me look side B. I'm sure I tell you right. This one is by Needle Bling Designs. So that was another finish. And this is a Lizzie Kate finish. Lizzie Kate designs are so good to go on bags. They're just the right size. But bippity boppity boo, I just think it's cute. And I did change the colors to pull out some of the purple in the fabric. I think that's just a fun fabric as well. So that one's by Lizzie Kate. Then this one, let me look so I'm going to tell you right, Bewitched. This is by Scissortail Designs. I had never used them before, but I found this design. I love bees, and I just thought that was cute. Bewitched. I started to say Be Wicked. And I did change the colors on that to go with the fabric as well. Now, I think that fabric came from Marshall's. I've told you about Marshall's Dry Goods. It's in Batesville, Arkansas. If you're ever that direction, do stop and check it out. It's an old Walmart that they have converted to just fabric. Like literally, I walk in the door, I get a shopping cart, and I just go to town. I have so much fun. And Batesville itself, Marshall's is kind of down at the end of the old downtown section, and they have really been working on renovating that whole downtown area. There is a great little restaurant called the Pinto, and wonderful breakfast, wonderful lunch. So if you go to Marshall's, this is my suggestion. You go to Marshall's in the morning. Well, you're gonna need more than just the morning, but you go in the morning, you shop, get the first things that hit you that you think, oh my goodness, I have to have that. Take a break. Go eat lunch at the Pinto. After you've rested and you've thought about some of the fabrics that you saw, you go back to Marshall's and you shop some more and pick up those that you've thought about and decided you might need. So it's a great day. So I encourage you, if you're ever near Batesville, Arkansas, check out Marshall's Dry Goods. You'll love it. Then this one is another Lizzie Kate. I just think he's kind of cute, little monster. And I love the fabric. I got this fabric at a little stitching shop we have in Little Rock called the Stitch and Post. And they have lessons on how to use different kinds of machines. They also have lots of quilt fabric, just lots of fabric in general. But it's a great little shop to stop in as well if you're ever in Little Rock. And then this, I think I got this fabric at Hobby Lobby, I'm not for sure, but that's a Bent Creek design. I just think that's cute. It looked like he's out in the field picking pumpkins, and here's the old truck going to go gather all the pumpkins up they're picking. So I thought it went really good with just the fabric. That's a fun little design. Bent Creek has some cute little small designs like that are perfect for fall. Then this one is another Lizzie Kate, Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. I love the fabric, so I changed the colors in the design to match all those different colors I saw in the fabric. So those are just a few. We had a lot more bags than that, but those are just a few. I wasn't going to bore you to death and show you all of them, but those are a few that we had last night at the sale. So that was what my week of finishing consisted of, putting a whole bunch of bags together. I did get the main sampler for the Zoom retreat for the Love of Samplers that I'm hosting in January. I did get that sampler finished. It's being dropped off tomorrow as I'm taking the fur baby out of town to the vet. I'm going to stop and drop that sampler off to be framed. I also finished a little pocket sampler that's going to be mounted on a board for the Zoom retreat. I finished it this week. I can't show you those two finishes though because they're surprises that I'll show the Zoom retreat group first, and once they have seen the finishes then I'll share them with you guys here on the Flosstube. But anyway, got a lot of work done, just not a whole lot that I can show you other than a few of the bags. I'm excited. Speaking of the Zoom retreat, we've got a great group of stitchers signed up. I have closed the Zoom retreat. I'm at my limit of what I'm going to do. And thank you to all of you who signed up. Thank you for those of you who have messaged asking about it. And I'm sorry that one has closed, but I am planning another Zoom for late spring, and that one is going to be a beach theme. I haven't finished all the details on it yet, and when I do, I'll announce it probably mid to end of January and give you a chance. If you didn't get in on this Zoom, maybe you can get in on that one. And like I said, it will be kind of a beach theme, getting us ready for summer, which will be around the corner next spring. So that will be coming up. So just stay tuned on the Facebook Violets and Verses page, and that's where you can get all the information. And I'll try and share it on here too as well. Now, my whips, I'm going to show you kind of what I'm getting ready to work on. I have finished Mary Ellis, and I'm going to show it to you once it's finished. I'm dropping it off to be framed as well tomorrow. But I'm now getting ready to start on the Mary Ellis adaptation. I had talked to you earlier about the fact that I was doing a reproduction and an adaptation, and the fact that the reproduction, I tried to reproduce it just as closely to the original sampler as I could. And I'm going to pull it out again. I know you guys have seen her several times, but this is the Mary Ellis for those of you that might be new this week, and it's the smallest sampler I own. I just love it though because I think she's a hoot. I've said before, I think she's the Annie Oakley of cross stitching. She, just as I've stitched her piece, I feel like I've gotten to know her, and she didn't worry about a lot of things that those of us might worry about. Like if she ran out of one color, she didn't care. She just picked up whatever was handy and started using it. So my reproduction piece is just the same or as close to the same as this original as I could get. Now my reproduction piece, my adaptation piece, I'm going to turn it into a drum. So I'm taking a few liberties on it. I decided to just go with one color, and I'm correcting some of the other mistakes that are in the original sampler, or what I think are mistakes. She may have meant for them to look that way. But I am going to use this piece of linen, and it's just out of my stash. I'm really not sure what it is. This week I've got to go buy a Stitcher's Garden, so when I do, I'll see if I can figure out what linen this is. But it's just it's a 28 count. And I decided to use Schoolhouse Red. It's a Gloriana silk. I just love that deep red color. And I thought it would be fun to contrast a silk with the cotton threads that I used in the reproduction. So the adaptation of Mary Ellis will be all in this red Schoolhouse silk, and I'll have it done in a drum. So I'm anxious to get started. That's on my or in my little bag to start this afternoon after I do the video, and hopefully next week I can show you some progress, if not a finish on that one. I've got to brush up on my drum making skills though. I have not done a drum in a while, and so I'm a little nervous about doing one again, so I've got to brush up on that and make sure I'm doing it the way it's supposed to be done. Now, my other whips. I have two more things Now, I don't know if you guys do what I do, but I will get a whole bunch of things out that I'll say, I'm going to get these finished this week. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. It just depends how the week goes. So these are in my I want to do these this week pile. So we'll see. Next week you'll see if I was able to finish them or not. I had purchased this several weeks ago. I think I showed you guys. It's called October Feast. And this is a with a needle and thread. And I bought this specifically to go on this little wooden acorn I found at Hobby Lobby. And I'll have the information down below again on where the numbers and everything off of this wood piece. But this was in Hobby Lobby, and I thought it just needs something really cute right here. So what I'm going to do is this little squirrel, and I think he's going to be adorable on this acorn. I'm not sure how I'm going to stain or paint the acorn yet. You'll have to wait next week and see what I do with it. But that's one thing I'm going to work on. Then my other finish I want to do is for another piece I bought and showed you guys a few weeks ago. I had purchased this at Hobby Lobby. I love it because it's got kind of this little beaded edge on the front. And I'm just going to repaint the top. I may leave the base the same color that it is. It's just kind of a natural wood. But I'll repaint this top portion. And it says T is for turkey. This is a heartstring samplery pattern. And I think it just looks like it needs to go on here. So I'm waiting to get some of these done. So when I take my Halloween down, I've got a couple Thanksgiving things that I can kind of put up. But don't you think he'll be cute on there? That's my goal. I want to get this guy done to put on here. So those are two more things that I'm hoping are going in my whip basket that's next to my stitching chair. I have several whip baskets at this point, and you guys made me feel okay about that. You're like, oh, just get another basket. It's okay. So that's what I did. But I have one that's next to my chair downstairs because when my husband gets in the evenings, I like to sit and watch TV and visit with him about his day. And so the things that are in that basket are things I'm working on right then. Then I have a basket up here that I kind of dig through, and it's things that I want to do at some time pretty soon. And then I have another basket that's sitting on another table up here that's I need to get to these at some point. So I've got 3 whip baskets. It is what it is, I guess. But anyway, these are in my basket next to my chair that I want to work on this week. So we'll see how much I get done next week when I come to you with Flosstube. Hopefully I'll have some finishes for you. I'm also working on, for the Zoom retreat, for the Love of Samplers, I'm doing a Bristol roll. I have my Bristol that I've shown you before, and I'm reproducing part of it to go on a spool. I have a piece of banding that I'm going to be stitching it on and then attaching it to an antique spool. That's one of the projects that everybody that's participating in the Zoom will also be getting. So I can't show you that just yet, but I will after I share that with the retreat group and I get it finished. That's on my list. That's in my to-do basket as well. So that basket's pretty full this week, I'm afraid. Now I have something I'm so excited to show you guys. I had a couple ladies message me and say, have you done your video for this week yet? And I said, no, I've been so busy and had to get ready for the bag sale, and I had a sick fur baby, but I'm going to do one this weekend, and I have something exciting to share with you. I don't have a pink bag this week from Stitcher's Garden. I know that's a shock. It's a shock for me. My husband kept looking, and I never brought in a pink bag. I think he was shocked as well, but I know there will be one next week. I feel pretty certain since I missed this week, but let me show you what I did get. This trumps all of it. Although this is my one haul piece this week, I have been wanting one of these for, oh my goodness, I don't know how long. Mom and I actually. So really this is kind of something Mom and I both wanted. So let me show you what I got. I love, you guys know I'm a history nerd. I've got to peek over here because it's hidden. I'm a history nerd, so especially with anything related to stitching, I just think it's so neat to connect to those ladies and gentlemen that came before us that stitched. That even though we live centuries apart, we have that same connection of enjoying working with our hands, or trying to think about colors that we like to put together, or different kinds of fabrics, and how can we finish something. And so there's that connection that no matter the distance in time between us and stitchers that came before us, we have that connection. And so my mom, when we first started stitching, I told this in one of my early videos, my aunt was a home economics teacher, and she's actually the one that got my mom and I started cross stitching, and we started about the same time. And it's still something. I'm so thankful that my mom and I are able to do things like stitching together. We have great memories from retreats we've gone on, just sitting around the house stitching and laughing about having to frog something. We have had lots of great memories from our stitching time together. And my aunt got us started, and we had the very basics. Like, we started with our Ada, which I still enjoy stitching on Ada. My mom loves to stitch on Ada, so even though we started with it, we still stitch on it. And scissors. We just had those big old Fisker scissors like you could find at Walmart. That's what we had. We didn't know you had to have special little stork or embroidery scissors for your stitching. We just hauled out our big Fisker scissors, and that's what we used. And as far as project bags, and I think that's really funny now because I make project bags all the time. We had a Walmart sack, you know, the little plastic Walmart sacks that you carry around, which at that time I think they were paper probably, but when we first started. But we did not have all the goodies and notions and bells and whistles that as stitchers we like to have today. And so for Christmas, I guess it was maybe that first year after we'd started stitching, for my mom's Christmas present, I went to this little stitching store, and I just was so excited that I was going to get something where we felt like we knew what we were doing. And so I bought her a pair of little stork scissors. Now, I don't have her scissors with me. She has lost them once or twice, and she just panics if she loses them because those are her favorite scissors since I bought them for her. Those were her first cross-stitching scissors. But they look just pretty much like these. They were just little stork embroidery scissors. And so I can remember when we first started getting these types of things, you know, regular embroidery scissors, the special needle, you know, what the needles we needed, or a hoop or whatever. We really thought we were uptown because we had all this special equipment now. We must look like we know what we're doing. Now I just look at all the bags that we carry when we go anywhere, all the little stitching tools and gadgets that we have, and think back to when we started, and you know what? We still stitched. Even though we had the very bare necessities, we were still able to get some stitching done. It's just as stitchers, we like all those little notions and things. Well, I've always been curious, and so has Mom, about why do they have a stork on them? You know, they're made to look like a stork. Why is that? So here I am, you know, Miss Curiosity. So Mom and I started looking it up, and she was curious about it too. And she's not a real curious person, so to get her curious, it was a major undertaking, and she was really into it with me that day. So we started researching, and it was said that midwives were actually the first people who had scissors that looked like a stork. Now, they weren't actually scissors, they were more of a clamp. And inside, if you open the scissors up, inside they had a little baby carved out, because this was what the midwives used to clamp the umbilical cords on the newborn babies that they were delivering. And so ever since we saw that, Mom and I were like, oh my goodness, we've got to have a pair of those. That is so cool to know that's where it came from. So we have been on the lookout. Every time we go in an antique store, I'm always looking if they have sewing notions. And I've never been able to find one. Then I finally found one on eBay. And I've always been nervous about eBay because I'm like, oh my goodness, somebody's going to outbid me. And a friend of mine told me about this auction sniper. She said, you just make up your mind, this is what I'm willing to spend, and it will bid for you. That way you're not just constantly sitting there looking and worrying. So that's what I did. So I found a pair on eBay a while back, and I was so excited. And I told Mom, I said, I found this pair of scissors. Oh, I hope I get them. So I put my bid in, and I know I wasn't supposed to look because that's supposed to take the stress out, but I kept going and looking. Oh, and it said I was the high bidder. I was so excited. And then I kind of got busy and forgot that the auction ended. And I got a notification on my phone and it said the auction ended and I did not get the scissors. Ugh, I was so disappointed. I pouted and moped around the house because I really had gotten my hopes up that I was going to get those scissors. And so I thought, I don't know when I'm ever going to find another pair. And I just kind of tried to put it out of my mind. But then it had spiked my curiosity. So I went back on eBay, several days later. And I started searching again. And lo and behold, there was another one. And I thought, I'm just going to try it again. So I did. But this time, I went in and I set my alarm to go off like just a couple minutes before the sale ended. So that way I was going to watch. And if it outbid me, I could quickly put another bid in. But I didn't get outbid that time. I did get the scissors. So I'm going to show them to you today. These are just an antique pair of the original stork scissors. And I love this little guy here on the bottom. He's a little turtle. That was a symbol from when I was in college. My sorority I was in, we had a turtle for our little symbol guy. And so it was Delta Zeta, and there's a little turtle, so that made me think about college days. And then he has a little red garnet for his eye. I don't know if you can kind of see that in the video. And then this is the cool part. If I open him up, let me turn him around. If I open him up, do you see the little baby? I just think that is the coolest thing ever. Now, I want you to notice, like, his beak is a lot longer than the regular embroidery scissors beak. Not beak would be, but you know what I'm talking about. The beak part would be. And they're not real sharp. That's because these really weren't used as scissors. They were used as a clamp. So they would just clamp the umbilical cord, and that's why it wasn't very sharp. It was kind of dull. But I was so excited to get this pair. And then this side, if I open it up, you just see where the baby is. The top part is, but you don't see the baby. But I just think that is so cute, and I love the history behind it. So Mom and I were super excited this week. They came in the mail. We were able to get them out and look at them and say, we finally got a pair of those. I'm going to set them over here so I don't knock them off or anything else like that. I'd feel bad if I broke them. Now, I do want to share a little bit more about the history behind the stork scissors. Storks, what is it about storks and babies? Because you see lots of shower invitations or different things, they always have a stork. Years ago, storks would migrate, and so they would go out of wherever they had been being seen until early spring, and then they would come back. And so typically the birth rate is higher in the spring. That's because everybody's been cooped up all winter, I guess. But it seemed like the storks would be coming back at about the time lots of babies were being born. And so that kind of set some of the old wives' tales into action. And storks made nests on top of all the rooftops. And that's where they would always tell little kids that storks would bring babies from heaven and drop them down the chimney. Kind of like Santa Claus, I guess. So a stork Santa maybe, I'm not sure. I kind of get tickled when I think about that. But supposedly the storks would come back in the spring bringing all these new babies, and they would drop them down the chimneys. And so that's kind of where that little old wives' tale began. And how did they get associated with stitching and turned into actual scissors? And it said that, if you think back during the time period, and I know some people today still use midwives, but long time ago, like the first stork scissors probably were recorded in the early 19th century. And so during that time frame, most babies were delivered at home by midwives. And there wasn't any internet. People didn't have cell phones to pick up and get on and check out what's going on, check their messages or get on the internet. They didn't have internet service. They didn't have handheld games. They didn't have TVs, other things that could occupy their time while the woman was in labor and they waited for the baby to make its arrival. So what they would do was take their stitching And so typically a midwife would have a little birthing kit, it said, and they would pack their stork scissors. They would also put some needlework in. So while they waited on the mother to get to the point that she needed the midwife's help, the midwife could do some stitching, and that was a way to pass the time while they waited on the baby. So I just thought all that history was so cool just to think about. Now we have stork scissors, and I don't know, you may have known that history and you may have been like me and just thought, oh, these are cute, they made them to look like a little stork. Now you know why they were made that way. This is actually going to be one of my giveaways this week. It's this little pair of stork scissors, so that's going to be my little giveaway. And do you have a pair of favorite scissors that you use? Like I said, my mom, the stork scissors that she got initially, those are her favorite scissors. Now she has others that she uses, but those are her favorite scissors. I have a pair of and I know I'm probably not going to pronounce this right, Verses scissors. I love, they cut like butter. They're kind of a ivory white looking handle that has black lace embedded in it. Those are absolutely my favorite pair. Now the same brand, I have a pair of tartan ones that I took when we went to Scotland. Those are probably my second favorite pair. I love the way they cut, but I'm a little addicted to scissors. I'll see a pair and think they're really cute, and I've got to have them because then I have all these scissor fobs I've got to attach to them. So I have several different containers with frogs in them that have all my many different embroidery scissors. And I have a feeling I'm not the only person out here that's like that. I bet a bunch of you have the same problem as well. But it's lots of fun. I enjoy finding a neat pair of scissors and trying them out. But probably the scissors are absolutely my favorite to use. Let me see. I'm looking at my notes because I'm afraid I'm going to forget something this week. I'm kind of playing catch up with what all I missed from telling you last week and what I want to get in this week. So thank you for bearing with me. Oh, I don't want to forget this. The door prizes. I will go ahead and announce the winners from last week. We had 2 prizes. I had the little organization box that I finished last week. I have a one that hasn't had anything done to it yet. And the winner for that is Robin Selby 1, and it just shows ROBINSELBY 1, and I'll have that down below. So Robin, if you're watching and you want to claim this, just send me an email and give me your mailing address, and I'll get this out in the mail to you this week. I also have the little chart. Jack, and I'm not sure what I've done with that. Here it is. Sorry, Jolly Jack. So I had this as a giveaway as well, and that goes to Devetta Centers. And Devetta, if I mispronounced your name, I'm so sorry. Devetta, and then the last name Senters, and I'll have that down below as well. So Devetta, if this is something you want to stitch, send me an email with your mailing address and I'll get this out in the mail to you as well. So those are the prizes. This is what I'm going to give away this week. And to be entered, just comment below. If you have a favorite pair of scissors, tell me about them. Or any other comment. Anybody that comments, I will put in the drawing for the little stork embroidery scissors this week. Now, I have one more thing that I'm excited to share with you. I posted it on the Violets and Verses Facebook page this morning. And I had a stitchy friend, Dee, who suggested that, you know what would be fun, Jennifer, sometime do a challenge. Have everybody do a challenge of some sort. Either start a whip, show how much they got done, or put their own colors in a design. So that got my wheels to turning. So thank you, Dee, for making my brain juices flow. I was so excited thinking about it last night. So I stayed up, I worked on a design, and then I posted it today. And it's kind of along a fall theme. And if you want to participate, just go join the Violets and Verses page if you're not a member already. If you are, thanks for being a member. And you can download this in PDF form and join us in this challenge. It's called the Pretty Pumpkin Challenge. And this is the design, just Pretty Pumpkin Challenge. And I've not included any colors, just some symbols. And here are the challenge rules. It says stitch the above design using your own color palette. Change it up however you want to make it look. Finish the design however you choose. There's lots and lots of different ways that this design could be finished. It's a small design, it's just 50 by 50, so that's not very big. Then post it. I want you to be creative. I can't wait to see what some of you guys do. You're a creative bunch of people. I tell you, I love to see your different finishes. So change the colors, use whatever colors you want. Do your own finish, and then post your picture of this design on the Violets and Verses page no later than October 15th. That's a Friday. And what I'm going to do is take everybody who posts a finish and put their names in a jar, draw from those names, and the winner will get a $25 gift certificate from my local L&S Stitcher's Garden. And I know you may not live here close by, but she has a great online site as well. So you'll still have a chance to spend that $25, and you'll get to go buy some of your own fall stitching goodies. So I hope you have fun stitching this. It's just the Pretty Pumpkin Challenge. I want you to come up with your own colors and your own finish and post it on the Violets and Verses page. I hope you guys have fun doing this. I like a challenge. Sometimes a little competition is fun, so we can learn from each other. I can't wait to see what everybody does, so I hope you join us on that challenge. And it's already posted, so you can go in immediately and download it and get started. Thank you. I just want to end by saying thank you so much. I have added several new followers this week. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to those of you who are new. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you go back and watch the ones previous, and hopefully some of the tips that I'm sharing or finishing items you can find at some of the places close by where you live as well. And I also want to say thank you to those of you who have been following me from the start. Thank you for continuing to follow along, listen to what I have to say, and being my stitchy friends. So I enjoy each week. I can't wait to get on and read your comments, and it just makes me feel like even though we're all scattered, we are all somehow connected with our stitching, and it's a chance to just make new friends this way. So thank you so much for those of you that are new and those of you that are followers from a while back. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday and a super week ahead next week, and I will be looking forward to coming to you next week and showing you some new things. So thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.